Hey, you are now locked in to Hard Reset with Juice Kastoan. Let's go. Hello, hello, hello. You are now listening to the Hard Reset with Juice Kastoan. I like to say what's up during this rainy day in Maryland. Um, Today's episode is about um, well, how can I say this? Who I was is not who I am now. So I'll talk about that progress and who I was as a person, how I've changed over time, and how change is good. Um, when I was younger, I would say I was a little more scared, you know, um, a little more apprehensive about tackling the world, even though I was ready to be out in the world. I wasn't fully ready to go out and go for my goals and dreams. Um, I was very determined, you know. I wanted to do everything I could to get good at things, but when it came to improving my life and whatnot, that was a little more difficult. Um, when I was younger, I was a player, you know. That's all I can say about that. I was a player. Um, Also, I cared more about, the gym working out. There's nothing wrong with caring about the gym working out. Just that it's just what I cared for. And it wasn't because I was thinking about, oh, I want to be healthy and, well. Part of it was that, but the majority of that was, I wanted to be attractive to women and I wanted to uh, be able to get their attention. I thought that was one of the ways to do it, was to hit the gym. Um, with that being said, my younger self, I believe all of my energy was directed in the wrong things. I feel like I should have been focusing on other things. And with that, I feel I I really can't blame myself for feeling or thinking the way that I used to, just for the fact that I didn't really have the guidance to figure all these things out. My dad, he left when I was in fourth grade. So I just had my mom. And really, I can't say that I would listen to my mom. My family, they disowned me right when I went to college just because I didn't want to go to their church, you know. Uh, what was the quote that one of my family members said? We're gonna leave you out to the world, you're on your own. So with that being said, that's how that went. I basically was on my own, trying to figure things out. And I feel like I did okay. Could have did better, but I think I did okay. Over time, I went through phases, but pretty much still stayed the same. And uh still wasn't trying hard enough. And then by my mid 20s, I felt like I was underachieving and not doing enough. So that led to me trying a little harder and, telling myself that I want to do better. And, that started with my retail job at Best Buy. I became number one in sales in the store and in the district from working hard and just learning the system. Um, and that was due to my mindset changing. I wanted to be better. I wanted to be the best. So that's what I worked on. I worked on being the best. And, I did achieve that. Now, once I got to the Navy, I would say I evolved. Uh, I evolved in regards to my process and the way I approach work. But I would say I devolved socially. I didn't care about, having friends and being social and hanging out. I cared more about work and ranking up and making more money so I could help my family. So I didn't really become that social. And I didn't really work on building bonds and building relationships. And, I feel during that time period, it makes sense why I was that way. But I also feel that I could have balanced it better. I feel like I could have did better with that. And the fact that I separated myself in that way, it made things a little harder for me. Not harder for me in work, but just harder for me in living life. So um, during that time period, it was a time of prosperity, but then also a time of darkness, I guess you could say. Once I got out of there and I was living in San Diego, my mindset shifted, and I feel like I started evolving. Um, I started I started wanting to be social with those in my circle, but I also didn't want to party like I did when I was younger. And I wanted to have more meaningful interactions and more meaningful events that, I participated in. The only thing is I devolved with my approach to work. It was more so, fuck it, I'm just going to work, trying to earn my paycheck. I don't really care. I'm just trying to make money. I ain't trying to, overdo it, become the best. I don't want to deal with everything that comes with it and all the people hating and all that other stuff. I'd rather be just in the middle of the road, unnoticeable. People don't even recognize me. Um, things of that nature. And it worked for that time period because I feel like that's what I needed to do. I had just came off of that suicide attempt, so I was trying to get myself better. And worrying about becoming the best at work just isn't something I need to worry about when mentally I need to build myself back up from where I was. So I actually have no issues with the way that I was during that time period. And then, once I met my wife, things slowly started to change. I started to feel that drive again. I started to feel that motivation again to be the best. I started feeling that that thing inside you that makes you tick and makes you want to go out there and do whatever you need to do. So I started putting more effort into work. Started putting more effort socially. I found more of a balance. I had a friend group. I was hanging out with my friends. I was working hard. I was doing all that. And then you want to fast forward to basically once I started spending more time with my wife and we move on our own and to where I am now. I My balance socially, I wouldn't say it's like it was back then. My balance for work is still, working hard, motivated, trying to get things done. Socially, I can honestly say I don't need that much social interaction. I talk to my friends every once in a while, but I don't really need social interaction. I have my family, I have my wife, I have my son. They take up most of my time, and I appreciate all the time I spend with them. So now I feel like I'm uh, I'm more balanced and more equipped for where I am right now. Where I am right now, mentally, emotionally, compared to my younger days, I feel a way lot better. I feel I know myself more. I feel like I can read situations a lot better. Um, I feel like I can handle things just a lot easier. So, in regards to who I am now compared to where I was back then, I feel like I'm in a good space. One of the things I would say is you don't want to be afraid of change. Change is the one thing that's constant in life, and you always want to evolve. You don't want to be the same person you was 20 years ago. Some people see it as like a rite of passage or, like a cool thing that, they're still the same person that they were. They never changed. But I feel like when your situation change and you're trying to do things, it's only right that you have to change in order to achieve certain things. You can't stay the same trying to achieve greatness. At some point, you're gonna have to change something and adjust something so you can focus more and be able to achieve what you want to achieve. So I'd say don't be afraid of change. Don't be afraid of becoming better. Now, don't be mean to people. Don't stop caring about others and making sure that they're okay. But make sure you're good and make sure that you're doing whatever you have to do so you can achieve whatever goals that you have in mind. Um, that's mainly what I wanted to talk about for this episode. Just don't be afraid of change. Change is good sometimes. You know, so um, compared to who I was back then when I was younger, compared to now, I feel like I'm in a very good space and I'm really proud of who I am now. So I'm just Kastoan. This episode was about changing, and I hope you enjoyed it. Go ahead, subscribe, and all that stuff. I'll see y'all on the next episode. So,
This was Hard Reset. Hopefully you got some. Leave a comment, answer the polls. Go ahead and contact me at Juice Kastoan on Instagram, Twitter, everything to go and holler at your boy.
Mad thoughts just going through my head. Expectations have been met.